Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75280. This is the 501st Legion Clone Troopers, or 501st Battle Pack, containing 285 pieces and retailing for $30 in the United States. You have one instruction booklet, which is exactly the same as the box image, and in the back we do have a little bit of an ad showing the Skywalker Saga game, as well as all the figures from this wave of sets, and this whole wave of sets, and the whole last wave of sets, but no figures for the whole last wave of sets. But yeah, that's all there is for the instructions. And if we take the box and flip it around, you can see the back artwork. And yeah, this side of my box wants to stay open forever now because it like came that way. And other side of the box just has the standard LEGO Star Wars greebling going on. Shows you one of the well, actually a jet trooper on the top. And yeah, so it contains four Clone Trooper minifigures and 2 battle droids for twice the price of a normal battle pack. So not quite twice the figures, but you do get a lot more detailed builds, and they're builds of things that actually, appear in Star Wars. One of those 2 builds is an ATRT here, and there actually was a previous 501st ATRT set released back in 2013, I think, which was a $20 set and contained one 501st Clone Trooper, as well as some Commando Droid and Yoda and some Droideka. This one is pretty decent. I'm not going to say like super significantly downscaled, but it is definitely downscaled a bit from that other version. And, it's, I think, probably a good thing that it was, because, that one was ridiculously oversized for what it was in the first place. So, I think that this is a pretty reasonably good looking version of one. Obviously still too big, but you really can't do too much better than that. For a minifigure compatible ATRT. Can't really get it to kind of walk as, maybe actually, this might work. Yeah. Okay, so you can get it into a walking pose. That's a pretty good one. You can't get like too much range of motion there. You can have it kind of leaning to the side a little bit, but it can be done. Yeah, there we go. Back to a neutral position. Yeah, I mean the legs are pretty similar to what we saw before, just a little bit shorter, and the stud shooter here is a little bit different. This is. On the original, they just had a built-up cannon that didn't actually shoot. This one you can actually shoot off, so good for play. Maybe less good for display, but I don't think it looks terrible with the stud shooter. I know a lot of people complain that it does, but I don't think it's the end of the world. And this is on a ball joint, so you can move it all around. They have a lot of stickers up here on the top to kind of create the front of the ATRT. They're fine. I do have a control panel printed in there, as well as handlebars for this Clone Trooper to hold on to. 2 clips on the back for some binoculars and the blaster of the Clone Trooper piloting it. And these bars and antenna on the back are attached by a clip, so you can move that up and down. And they are pretty secure on there. And if we remove our Clone Trooper, you can see that he just has 2 studs to sit on and can, sit in place pretty comfortably. You are going to have to kind of hold it up here if you're trying to push him in, because otherwise you will just push the legs down. But yeah, I mean, probably the worst looking thing on here is just the exposed studs on the legs. But for the most part, it's a pretty good build. The speeder here, though, is probably one of the best Star Wars speeders that, they have designed and put in a set. It's, it's a pretty good thing, I think. I mean, it's, again, probably a bit oversized, but I think that it looks really nice for what it is. And I like the use of this new part up front to kind of give it that little angle. Maybe that's the right way to word it. But yeah, it's a pretty good-looking bark speeder. I like the use of these skis. Those are, a good part usage there. And you do have some blasters in the back, which you could take and use as extra weapons for your Clone Troopers or your droids if you wanted to. Give them extra weapons. But they're just supposed to be like cannons there. A couple stickers used on here as well. You got the 1 blue sticker up there, which is perfectly fine, and then 3 stickers on this one part, which is kind of hard to line up, but it's definitely doable, and not as hard as I thought it was going to be, but still a little bit finicky, a little bit of a challenge. You don't really have a clip for your actual weapon, which is kind of a miss there. But you can actually position the controls in his hands if you remove his weapon, and yeah, that looks good. Got the engines on the sides, which are attached with a with a Technic axle, and yeah, it doesn't really have any way to hover. Maybe it would have been nice if you could have just included a 2x2 round brick and trans clear, and then you have the stud shooters right up front. But obviously, you can kind of hover this around yourself. And I do like kind of the intake on the front. I think that that's a pretty nice little build there. And last thing to do here is just remove him. I guess I removed the handlebars with him, but you can see the seat that he got there does look pretty reasonably good, and works out pretty well. And the first two 501st Troopers that we have here are both pretty much exactly the same. They just have different weapons. One of them makes use of this black candle piece to just kind of make his rifle look longer. The other one is a standard blaster, which all of the figures in the set, except for this guy, include just that standard blaster. The helmets look pretty good, and the overall design of this figure is kind of a mixture between the Clone Wars version and the live-action versions from Episode 3. Does have the printing on the toes, which is pretty good detail for a Clone Trooper minifigure, but it's kind of subtle, kind of works. I kind of wish that there was a little bit of printing on the hips. That's the only thing about these figures that kind of bothers me. And you'll notice one of my helmets is slightly printed off to the side a little bit, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's for the most part the helmets are printed really well, and they do actually kill Angry Clone, and all of the figures inside have the same face print, so I'm not going to bother removing it off the rest of them, but it is a new face print with no alternate expression for clones, which looks pretty good. The back printing on their torsos is pretty great as well. You really have too many problems with these figures. I think that they are good and massable figures. And again, we get a third one of the same figure, which does just have the same blaster as well. And we also get one of these Jet Troopers, which has some really cool markings on his helmet. I really like the way that this guy looks. Torso printing is different as well as he has a blue jetpack, which is pretty cool. New color for that part as well. And if we take his head off and his jetpack off, we're able to see that he does get a little bit of extra printing on the back of his torso as well, with the blue there. I like the blue arms. I think that kind of makes this guy stand out a little bit more. Kind of makes him feel a little bit more special. Maybe would have liked if all of them had blue arms, but I do understand that is a little bit too much blue, to be canonically accurate. It's just, I don't know, I think it's kind of a cooler look. Maybe I'm wrong, but just kind of the look that I sort of prefer. But both these figures are pretty cool. Happy to have a little bit of variation that does also fit in and is still a massable figure. The last two figures are just battle droids. They're not very special, not very exciting, but they are massable, and it's nice to have some sort of bad guy forces in his head, I suppose. It kind of allows you to sort of build up a little bit of a droid army while you're building up your clone army. But that does bring me into my final point, which is, while I appreciate the fact that this set exists and people are able to build armies of these 501st Troopers if they want to, which, yes, there does seem to be a large amount of demand for it, because that is still selling pretty well, even 3 months after its release now. But I still don't think that the increase to a $30 set made it easier to build an army. Because yes, you can buy as many of these as you want, and you'll get 4 clone troopers each time, but you'll also get I guess, depends on how much custom stuff you like to build yourself, but you do get a bunch of parts that may or may not be useful to you. The inclusion of the droids is good, I think. Helps a little bit, but as purely a battle pack, I don't think that this is the greatest thing, though I don't buy battle packs for the sake of them being battle packs. I buy sets to, generally I'll only buy one of a set, and, even with battle packs, yes, of course. And I think that this makes a better standalone set than it does a battle pack, and, I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm surprised there wasn't any, but I guess it would have been kind of rude to complain after LEGO finally made this out for all the people who'd been wishing for it for years and asking for it. It's cool that they were able to make this happen for all the fans who wanted it, and I'm glad that they'll be able to have it and buy as many as they want. But I I'm just happy to have bought one myself, and as a standalone thing, I think that it's kind of cool. For $30, maybe a little tiny bit on the pricey side, but I think that it's reasonable value, especially when compared to other Star Wars sets. $25 I think would have been a perfect price, and lucky for me, it was on sale 20% off, which puts it at $24, which means that it was a good price for me. So I am happy with my purchase, and happy to add this to my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this little review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.